September 1st, 1939, the radio announced that Germany had invaded Poland and Germany was at the state of war. At 6 a.m. in the morning, my father was picked up as an enemy alien and taken to prison. For 2 weeks, he was treated as a foreigner under the Geneva Conventions. After 2 weeks, Poland had lost the war. It was fully occupied. My father was sent to Sachsenhausen and to Ghetto afterwards. We heard from him very seldom. It was one line, "I'm well," in his signature. I was in Dachau last year, and I got access to the files that they had about my father, and I made photocopies. They were very contradictory. My father was murdered in Dachau on January 31st, 1941. The paper stated that he died in Munich, that he died of pneumonia. Another paper stated that he died of heart failure. In any event, he was murdered, whichever way they excused it. I have the documents now for my children. We had to move from building to building. The Germans designated certain areas, certain houses in which Jews could live, and we had to vacate our apartment and move into a room in one of these houses. Food by then was rationed. It was sold in special stores. Our cards were marked with a large J. The rations were limited, and the wait for food was very, very long. On February 1st, which happened to be my birthday, the German secret police came to our apartment, or rather to our room. They threw a cigar box on the table, and they said, "Ashes from Dachau, Belgium, and London." Whether they were my father's ashes or not, we will never know. However, they were buried in the Jewish cemetery in the city of Hamburg, and he set a stone. Whether it's my father's ashes or not, we will not know it, and it really doesn't matter. A short time thereafter, in the summer of 1941, we received notification for deportation. One suitcase per person. The deportation was peace. We were loaded at the Hanover rail station, which is today a museum. It was opened last week. We were put into cars with guards on the outside, and we were 1,050 people. After 3 days, we arrived in a city named Lodz, L-O-D-C, in central Poland, a city we had not heard much about. It was not near the place where my parents and grandparents had lived. We were pushed out of the railway cars and handed over to the Ghetto police. They were Jewish like we. They wore a yellow star, and they walked us into the Ghetto, which was the Baruti section, a large industrial city, the poorest, worst section might have been a hero, to others he might have been a traitor. We will never know. It's only in the last 2 or 3 years that we have read about this man and some of the things which he did or did not do, as the case might be, in the ghetto. And it's really deplorable to read. People were afraid to point a finger at one of their own. But it's now a matter of history. I wrote a book about him when it was first published in this country and in Germany in translation. I was told that it was not to be trusted. It is different now. It can be trusted, and there is enough proof, and there is enough collaboration by other authors who will tell the same story. The ghetto had, at its highest point, residents from Poland, residents from Prague, Austria, Germany, Berlin, Frankfurt, Hamburg, and 160,000 people in an area not larger than 3.5 kilometers across. We lived in very crowded conditions with hardly any furniture. The clothing was either hanging on a nail on the wall. We lived on the 3rd floor of the building, which is still standing and occupied by Poles. But really what was the worst were the winters. Snow fell, and the snow froze, and it did not melt from October to April. Walking to work, I wore 2 coats, which is really all I had. And being hungry was very, very difficult. The ghetto had occasional deportations from the ghetto. Whenever the Germans decided that the ghetto was too much, there was the first deportation that I witnessed was in May 1942, when the Germans demanded all the elderly that had come from Western Europe, and most of them were without work. They disappeared. We were told they were in another work camp and they were fine, but nothing got into the ghetto. We had 1 radio and it didn't always work. And there is no information, there was no information as to what had happened to them. That same year, July, my mother died of hunger. There were no services available to bury the dead. They were stored in a large building at the ghetto border in the Jewish cemetery. The Ghetto cemetery marks 70,000 dead. But this is not all. They miscounted, and they did not count those people that were deported and sent out of the ghetto and did not survive. We worked for the Germans in factories. They brought in machinery, and we sold the uniforms for the German army. We made the boots for the army. We made furniture for the children in Germany. We made hats for the ladies in Germany. You name it, it was made in the ghetto. And the letters of the stores that bought the merchandise are now available, and they are on display. And they paid very little for the merchandise, and they said it was very good workmanship. Lodz was a city of tailors, shoemakers, and it was known for good merchandise. I worked in several offices. I worked first in an office for a man who was an engineer who believed in the beautification of the ghetto. He thought it would be a permanent home with gardens, with schools, with parks, and he had a staff that drew up blueprints. Bunkowski permitted the office, and after 6 months he closed the office. I guess he saw the futility of this effort. Then we went to the second office, and we were drawing up. We were counting German forms or figuring out the poor life for the German populations. We had, for the one summer, 300 people filling out the forms and sending them back to Germany so that they could get the proper amount of coal for the winter. The straw shoe factory, which made big straw shoes for the German army, for Russia in the snow, had too few employees. Bunkowski came to the office and took 70% of the employees out of the office and into the straw shoe factory. You were braiding the straw, which was wet, with your hands. Your hands were swollen and bloody. It was terrible work. It was worse than a braided carpet factory. When he went through the office, person by person, and I tried to hide, but in the end I could not. And he wanted to know about the family, and he said, "You'll hear from me." I had a very good boss. He was a lawyer by profession. He was in his 30s. And he transferred me to the Office of Archives, where we made out a daily report of the happenings in the ghetto. His thought might have been if I would disappear into another office, maybe Bunkowski would not remember. I worked there for Dr. Singer, who came from Prague, and we filled out a page or 2 pages of ghetto occurrences every single day from 1941 to 1944. The papers were found partly in Lodz, partly in Warsaw. They were photocopied. They were sent to a university in Germany, and we had 5 volumes of the daily reports. It tells how many people committed suicide, how many people were dead, who was punished for theft, who was shot at the barbed wire, and it gave a report of generally what the population was talking about. ghetto existed more or less in the dead lying in the mornings in the street. They are more frequent, there were many more. A little black wagon with a white horse would pick them up every day. The Germans decided the ghetto is the one ghetto in Poland, and there were many. There was Minsk, there was Kobno, there was Vilna, there was Riga, there were many of them. This ghetto was the longest in existence until August 1944, when the orders came from the Germans that the ghetto had to be evacuated. And they evacuated street by street by blocking off streets and having us walk to the end of the ghetto, which had a so-called rail station, or rather it had rails that stopped at their point, but it did not have a station. And they had cattle cars lined up. Each cattle car was about 150 people. And we had a small window on the top. And the cattle cars took off in August, the first ones. I was in the first one with a friend. And after 3 days, they arrived at 4 in the morning at a station, well lit, with a lot of dogs, a lot of commands in German. And as the doors were opened, we were in a place called Auschwitz. There were some prisoner helpers from the Germans, and we asked them, where are we? And they were amazed that we had never heard of Auschwitz. Auschwitz had been in existence for already 3 years. The old were separated from the young, the men from the women, the children from the parents, as the mother did not give up a child. And by evening we had lost all our belongings, whatever we had taken. Our heads were shorn. We walked through a shower which was either called a shower or gas. On that day it gave a little bit of water. We received one bag of clothing, an apron and all the rest of that. No shoes, no underwear, nothing. And through the grapevine we heard that Auschwitz had a gas chamber. We did not know what it was. That it had a crematorium, and we saw the billowing chimneys. We had never heard about it. We were in a barracks about the size of this room, 500 women. Every morning, every afternoon, we had to line up and be counted. At first, it was very cold in the morning, then it got very hot. People fainted. People were sent to the hospital. Some of them were returned. We had heard of a Dr. Mengele who made experiments on human beings, but we had not seen him. One morning he came with another officer. We had to line up, take off our clothing, and run past him, or walk past him. We were pushed to the right and to the left with a stick, and those on the right were marched away, never to be seen again. The ones on the left got another bag of clothing. They were put into a cattle car, and after 3 or 4 days, we arrived in the outer harbor of the city of Hamburg. The minute I thought, going back to a place that I knew 4 years ago might be a felony, I was greatly mistaken. We were used as slave labor. We lived in barracks, at first on the floor, and then they had wooden cots and a straw sack. We received a slice of bread in the morning, a black liquid, and a hot soup at night. We worked through the whole winter of 1945 at the shipyards, at all our buildings, and we built temporary housing for the Germans. out of concrete boards. We did every labor conceivable. Everybody had pneumonia, everybody was sick, but it was better to be sick than to be sent away. This particular camp had 497 women, 2 from Czechoslovakia. The 2 women that were appointed for the inside running of the camp were from Prague. I was the only one who really spoke German. Everybody else was from Poland. And the camp was surrounded by barbed wire and barracks for 42 SS. The camp was run by several SS people. One succeeded the other, one more cruel than the next one. The last one we had was a gardener in civilian life. Now he wore a uniform. He was in his 50s, late 50s. He wore high boots, and he loved to kick us. I had bloody legs for weeks. As soon as they would heal, he would kick again, and the wounds would break open. And he did not talk to us other than some commands. For a short period, I worked in the office because they did not have enough people to write down things. They did not have a typewriter. And I read the newspaper, which was on another desk, upside down. It didn't give me much information. Out on the workplace, the Germans did not look at us. In the streetcar, in the BART trains, they did not look at us. We stood in a corner, ragged, wet, undernourished. Nobody acknowledged us. There are now papers available that on the way to the train every morning, people would stop and leave food on the street or on the hedges. The only problem is we never saw any food. That's a story that has been fabricated now, together with many other stories. It was a long winter. It was a hard winter. Until about March 1945, we were loaded into trucks, and the next stop was a place called Bergen-Belsen. I never heard of the place. We went through a big gate, and on the right and on the left were huge mountains, or 10 feet high, of shoes, empty shoes. No feet, no legs, just shoes, new and old, small and large. We were housed in a barracks this size, maybe small, 5 minutes. The dead were lying on the road, on the walkway. There was a large area in which the dead were naked, piled high, and turning green. Their bodies were turning green. The first 2 days or 3 days, we received a little bit of soup, nothing else. The SS no longer came into the camp because it had an epidemic of typhus. We knew that our stay there was very, very short and very limited. We could not survive without food and with typhus all around you. On April 15th, 1945, we heard a strange noise. That was around lunchtime. We came out of the barracks and saw big vehicles on the main camp avenue behind barbed wires. And out of the vehicles came soldiers in khaki uniform. They were soldiers from Great Britain on the way north to cut off the Russians. They had not anticipated to stop at Bergen-Belsen, or that it even existed. They were speechless. I worked for them from the first day as a translator. I spoke English then already. And the news that was relayed to London that day and the following weeks can be heard and seen at the museum in London. They tried to bring in food, medical help, but it took time. The war was not finished. The war was finished in May. This was April 15th. Eventually, we got some food. The barracks were eventually burned down, and we were housed in the German military stone building. And they buried the dead. They found more than 10,000 unburied dead. And the dead were buried with a bulldozer. There was no other way. The mass graves are identified, but not the people. You can see them now, where Bergen-Belsen has a new museum, which is very detailed and very well done. And another 10,000 died after liberation because they could not be saved. They were too far gone that any medical treatment could make a difference. My only thought was, get out of Germany. I tried with my family in Palestine. I tried with my uncle in San Francisco, a classmate in New York, and various other people. I worked for the British War Crimes Department. We interrogated Germans, mainly military or SS. And one day I mentioned that I remembered the SS at the previous camp. My boss laughed. He gave me a pad and a piece of paper, and I wrote down the names. A few weeks later he said, the information checked out. Would you come with us in the truck, and we'll go to Germany, we'll go to the German cities and find them. Of the 42, we found 40 that were arrested, and all of them all of a sudden knew my name. I only used to have a number. We have never done anything bad. Please help us. I have no answers. No comments, no answers. I just wanted to see them behind bars. There was a preliminary hearing in the city of Celle. All I remember is that I spoke English. I don't remember the questions. I don't remember my answers. And I saw the SS sitting in front of me. And then I received letters or scraps of paper under my door. We will find you, we will kill you. I assumed that they were from the families of the imprisoned SS. When I gave them to my boss, I cried. And it was really the first time in years that I had cried. I was afraid. 2 days later, the British drove me over Holland to Belgium, to Paris, because Paris had a British embassy and an American embassy. They gave me a letter of recommendation that I had helped them, and they said, good luck, and try and get a visa out of Europe. On March 26, 1946, I arrived in New York. I was about 6 months in Paris. It was very hard to get a passport, to get a boat, because there were no planes, to go to New York. It was difficult. New York was lonely. My classmate was trained, but she said, you have to go to work. I worked in a glove factory. I hated it. At the end of that year, I met my husband. We got married. I started to work in an office, and I learned shorthand and typing, and I went to Queen's College at night. We left New York in 1949 for San Francisco, and we lived in Berkeley since 1950. My children were born in this country, and they tried to visit Germany when they were students, and they said, it's not a country for us. The people don't look straight at you. I can't cope with that, was their answer, which was very strange because we had not told them about the past. They knew they had no grandparents, but they didn't know why. We told them when they were 18 years old, and they never asked a question, and we never gave an answer. They read my first book, which came out in 1990 or 1992, but there's still no questions. It is a topic which we just cannot discuss, because everybody cries instead of talks. A while ago, the Germans said, would you care for a German passport? We would even give one to your children. I said, you know, my children would kill me if I came home with a German passport. And you know what I would do to it? I would put a match to it. And there was a senator, and he was very insulted. So be it. It is 64 years later. They have learned a little. The students like you, I can only tell them that you have to have the courage of your convictions. You have to hide somebody if it's necessary, and if it endangers your life, so do it. In the city in which I grew up, which has close to 2 million people, nobody was sick. Nobody. In Berlin, yes. In other cities, no. It is a mentality which I find difficult even 3 generations later, because I get now the point. My grandfather or my great-grandfather tells a different story. My only comment says, bring him to school, I'll talk to him. But of course I never see him. So that some of the Germans have become very right-wing and very much within the old system is right-wing. I'm not saying it can't happen again, it can't happen any place. It happened in Yugoslavia, it happened in Africa, it could happen here, it could happen in Germany, if we let it. So it's up to you to never let it happen again. You wanted to run this in?
You just, before we pause for questions, we're going to, we have a DVD of a program that Lucille participated in that was about Heinrich Himmler is the subject, but Lucille was also interviewed in it. Hope, can we go through it from chapter 6, or do you want to go through what chapter are you on?
I think it's on 14 right now.
Okay, why don't you start then?
It's coming up. It'll take it a minute.
Okay. Keep the volume down, and then Lucille will provide a little bit of commentary.
This is a part of the ghetto. You can see still the children at the very beginning. When I came, you can see the people emaciated, tired, aimless. You can see the rundown buildings, the streets without any canalization, the dirt running around the street. Some of the photographs were taken by the Germans, some were taken by Grossman. I walked 2 years ago I lived in this building. It was one of the few stone buildings on the 3rd floor to the right of the balcony. It was Pavia 26. The building is now occupied by Poles. They have an apartment, or there are 3 apartments on each floor. We only have a room on each floor for 8 people. Where the car is standing now used to be a pump for water. And where the white car is in the back used to be the outhouses.
Are you inside?
This is the staircase inside. This is my little sister. This was 1938. My mother, my sister, and I. On the right is Heinrich Himmler, on the left is Hitler. Heinrich Himmler had full command of all Jewish matters, of the ghettos, and of Auschwitz. His orders were primary and nobody dared disobey.
Can you go to 14? Or 16, please?
This is a place called Kulmhof, or Chelmo in Polish. This is where all the transports from the ghettos were taken. The people were gassed. The people were put into these open graves and burned. There are no remnants except for an occasional earring or an occasional pins. Why the Poles decided to leave them open, the graves open, we do not know.
You want me to go forward?
Yes, can you go to 21, please?
This is the so-called railway station. Now it's a railway station. It wasn't at that time. Himmler made one visit to the ghetto, but we have no details. We were transported in these cattle cars to Auschwitz and from Auschwitz. One of them stays now in Poland, outside the ghetto, and it's on display. It's similar to the one in Washington, D.C. It's the old locomotive. It's in Radegast, which was the German name for the railroad station. It had no paving, it had just a dirt road. It is now a so-called monument or a place of remembrance. These are the tracks that are remaining that took us from the ghetto to Auschwitz and from wherever we came from into the ghettos. There is not too much left of it, but some of it. The surrounding is quiet and peaceful and does not give an indication of what was hidden behind. This is a ramp at Auschwitz, arrival at Auschwitz. You can see the SS guards. This is a Hungarian transport which came in 1942. The striped uniforms are prisoners that had to help the Germans. And why the railroad tracks were never bombed by the British or the Americans is not to be explained, because they bombed the oil refinery in Krakow 3 miles away. And they knew what was there, because we have now aerial photographs which were taken by the Americans.
This is Birkenau.
This is Birkenau.
Yeah.
I think a couple of barracks are standing. This was electrified wire with guard towers. And part of a chimney is standing. I think this was Auschwitz, and it could have been the camp of Sinti and Roma, which was burned with people inside, and they were murdered, but we had no exposure to them. These are the early barracks, which had cots. When we came, there were no cots. They had disappeared. You can see a picture of Elie Wiesel looking out of a cot, but they did not exist when we came in 1944. In these barracks were housed more than 500 people. And this is the SS, it's Himmler again, giving orders of praise, I guess.
Can we go to 25?
And this is Bergen-Belsen, with the mass graves. This is the memorial stone at the entrance, and I put down a small stone as you do in a cemetery, and then I walked away towards the mass graves.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you have any questions, I will try to answer.
Don't be shy. Yes.
I'm a world history teacher, and so I
I
would.
can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Could you stand?
Stand up. I'm a world history teacher. Can you hear me?
She's a world history teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. And I'll be getting to World War II soon. And so I guess I know what I think is important about the Holocaust and the whole experience, but this is such a great opportunity for me to ask you what you would like me to tell my students. And so I just want to know, what message would you like me to give my 95
Man's
students?
inhumanity to man.
Oh, fast.
Man's inhumanity to man. And of the Roma, and I don't know the exact number. Why kill them? Because they have a different religion, because they look different, they have different color, or different orientation. There is no reason to kill a human being. And that a whole nation and a whole world stood by and let that happen. And I don't exclude the Americans and the British. It's not to be understood. If you can make that clear to your students, that would help.
I was wondering, like, what, when you're living in the ghetto and stuff like that, what like keeps you motivated every day to wake up and to keep going? I mean,
Well, what kept me motivated is the one soup that I got at lunchtime because I did work. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten the one soup. And the hope that this might someday come to an end. But towards the end of the ghetto, 1944, and in Auschwitz, there was no more hope. It was the end of the road for most of us. We just didn't care anymore.
In your book, you mentioned when you saw the Nazi soldiers in the prison, you mentioned that not even justice could suffice for you. And now, even after the passage of time, the Germans sent you the passports. Do you feel that anything will ever suffice?
I cannot forget, and I will not forgive. Only the dead can do that, not I. Reparations in terms of money have been very slim, and there are many people who survived the war and live below the poverty line. In this country, in Israel, and in Eastern Europe. And I think it's the Germans' responsibility to take care of those people, to live at least in a decent room with food, and they do not. And that's unforgivable.
Many elderly Holocaust survivors lack even the most basic medical health, help. They really, especially in Eastern Europe, suffer. There are several organizations that raise money specifically to help the Holocaust survivors who live in Eastern Europe and in Russia.
Did your uncle from San Francisco, did he ever express regret or an apology about not providing an affidavit for your family?
No, he did not. He was at that time, I think, a little over 70 when I came. And he talked to my husband, but I couldn't talk to him. And I never did. He wanted to have a family, and I couldn't provide that.
How did people keep their sanity?
You just mentioned people did not. There were no social workers after the war. There were no psychologists. There were no psychiatrists. You have people now, 85, 90 years old, needing mental help, just like the soldiers returning from Iraq, except we didn't get it. When we came to this country, and I came very early, we were considered socially not acceptable. Nobody asked us where we came from. We were just somehow dirty. I know that my husband's family was very unhappy when my husband decided to get married. Not his parents, but his aunts, uncles, and cousins. It's a matter of too little, too late.
One of the things that I've studied is I've heard about several mental facilities in Israel where elderly Holocaust survivors live, and it became very clear to me that the people who were able and who had survived enough to take care of themselves figured out a way to get to the United States, to get to Canada, to get to Australia, to get, in some cases, to Israel. But many of the people who, I guess, were lost in life were automatically taken to Israel because every Jew had a right to be there. And that there are less and less, but many of them lived out their lives in mental institutions because they were never able to live a normal life again.
I had a friend who never left her room. The curtains were drawn. The pictures of the family were on the wall, but she wouldn't go out. I had another friend who would go out, but he wouldn't go out alone into the street. He had to hold somebody's hand. He would not cross the street. He was terrified. And he was a school teacher by training. So it's very, very difficult for some people.
I should add on to that because my Oma and Opa are from the Netherlands, and even to this day, even though they live in San Diego County, they will not go to a grocery store where they have to have a membership. Where if they swipe on a card,
They don't like a card identity.
something they won't.
Name tag.
Yeah, they won't do anything that will identify them. They just now, in the last 2 years, got a cell phone, got a debit card. They always paid in cash. They never got a card for anything. They never wanted to be associated with it.
I won't go to any conference, to any meeting with a name tag. No name tags.
Did you have a question, Barbara?
Yeah, I'm wondering, Germany has had a concerted effort to provide education to the next generations about the Holocaust, and I think if I've gotten my information accurately, have done it in a much more systematic fashion than we have in the United States. And you've traveled back and forth quite a lot over the last number of years. Are you seeing any differences in terms of the impact of that education on the generation that is the same as that of our students?
It is selective. The students now in Germany are very mixed. There are Turks, there are Greeks, there are Armenians. Germany is not a totally white, blue-eyed country. And that, I think, has made a difference. I see a difference and I don't see a difference. The German government 6 months ago passed a law that if you could prove that you worked voluntarily in a ghetto, you could get a one-time payment of €2,000, which was at that time $2,500. I broke that down into 3 years, 12 months per year, 52 weeks, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. It came out to 18 cents an hour. And I wrote a letter which was published in a leading newspaper that Mrs. Merkel should take some arithmetic lessons.
Actually, there has been some systematic Holocaust education in the United States. And did any of you go to a Catholic high school? Did you have Holocaust education in your Catholic high school? No. Well, on the university level, many of the programs in Holocaust education are done at Catholic universities, which is kind of complex thing. I had a question, and I wanted to know, I've always wondered, how did you learn all those languages?
My kids speak a good English, a poor French, and a poor Spanish. When I was 10 years old, I spoke German, and I spoke English, because I was taught. My French was poor at 12, and it was poor when I lived in Paris. But when I lived 3 years in Poland, I picked up Polish. I could speak it fluently, but grammatically not always correct. I could not read it, I could not write it. I never went to school there. And my husband spoke even more languages. He spoke French, German, Spanish, and some Portuguese, and later on Italian. So either you're interested to learn them, or you have a natural ear for it. I don't know. My kids just murder any other language.
Any more questions? Hope.
Have you
You need to speak up.
have you come into contact with any of the other Jews that were in the ghetto with you? Like maybe people you worked with in the ghetto, or?
I have a friend whom I met in the ghetto who lives in Minneapolis, but we are of very different opinions. She talks about the past constantly, even to her children, and I do not. And she also had a privileged status because her father used to be a school principal. I have a friend in Israel who is blind now, who absolutely refuses to mention the past. Her brother in London, on the other hand, will talk and will help with translations. So it is very, very different.
In the book you said that you had met your husband's parents.
I met my husband's parents in the ghetto.
How was he in New York and they were?
Pardon?
How was he in New York?
Why was he in New York
Why
and
was
they
he in
were?
New York?
My husband was in Cuba on an illegal entry, on an illegal visa, and the ship after his was the St. Louis, which was turned back to Europe. Cuba did not let him in. The visa my husband had was bought, it was illegal, it was not valid, but he went into Cuba, he worked as a farmer, and 2 years later he got to the United States, end of 1941, and he went voluntarily into the army. He wanted to parachute, but he was too old because he was looking for his parents. And he was 4 years overseas, but I did not meet him overseas, I met him in New York.
Do you still have the watch that the Russians gave you? No British?
Do you still have to watch the Russians game?
No British.
No,
The
the
British.
British. No, I got rid of it. I didn't want it. That I did not want. I have an old watch that doesn't work that belonged to my mother, which was in Palestine and was sent to me years ago. But I did not want that watch because it would belong to another human being. And that human being would recognize the watch on my wrist. I would feel off. I did not want it.
How did your experience affect your faith?
I was brought up traditionally, I would say almost orthodox. I went to a parochial school. I spoke Hebrew, which I forgot, but I still sort of remember. I can read and write it. I am Jewish. I do not go to services, hardly ever, maybe once in 5 years. And I can only ask, and nobody has found an answer yet, why did the God, whether he's Catholic, Protestant, or Jewish, left the Sabbath? And nobody has been able to answer that question. So there is very little faith. There's some, but very little.
Yes.
You said that you changed your name to Lucille when you moved to New York. Do your family and your intimate group of friends, do they refer to you as Lucille, or do you use your birth name?
My name used to be Cecilia, and for short, they called me Cilli, which in English you can't do because it sounds silly. So my friend in New York said, make it Lucille Cecilia. And not knowing any better, I did it. If I had to do it over, I just would leave it at Cecilia. But at that time, I didn't know. I did things that people in New York told me, because I didn't know. I assumed that, for instance, New York had no discrimination in 1946. I was interviewed for a job, and the man said to me, I don't hire Jews or Italians. I was speechless. In 1947, when we got married, we went to Canada, Niagara Falls in Canada, the Laurentian Mountains, which are French. And I picked up a brochure at the desk and I read it carefully, and it said restricted clientele. And I assumed in my stupidity that it meant, well, you had to have a certain education or certain amount of money. And when I showed it to my husband, he said, I'm sorry, I did not see it when I made a reservation. It means no
my disappointments when I came here. But it's still a better place to live than most other places.
Yes?
I'm really curious because I encounter these types of people not too often, but I want to know what you have to say to those who doubt that this happened.
Deniers. People who deny the Holocaust.
Well, that was recently a large issue with the Argentinian bishop and the Pope. And I think the Pope should have dismissed the bishop because he certainly has the power. And the Pope, even though he's German by birth, should have known about the past. In fact, there is a picture of the present Pope in a German Hitler Youth uniform. So he can't be that ignorant. If I were to encounter a denier, I would just walk away. You can't deal with that much stupidity.
I was once asked whether I would have a lecture by a Holocaust denier, and guess what I did? I denied it. It is the policy of Holocaust scholars to just not engage people who are that.
It's useless, it's pointless. They come with such stupid arguments. Irving, who lost the trial in London 2 years ago, was in Berkeley at IHOPS. Most of the students. It was insane. I mean, how can you deny that today is Tuesday, 5 o'clock? It's unbelievable.
Okay, last chance. I'm sorry.
Yes, I don't really actually have a question about your book. I just found it particularly moving, and I was wondering if you would be willing to sign it for me.
Thank you for that, because that was the next thing I was going to say. I asked Lucille if she would be willing to sign your books, and she's more than glad to do that. Would you join me in thanking Lucille for spending